Hey, it's that time of year. It's the annual enrollment period when we look through Medicare.gov's website and use their Plan Finder tool to compare all the different plans that are available to you for 2019. So let's get to it. Um, let's go to Medicare.gov. Make sure we're on the .gov website. This is the home page, and we want to look for Find Health and Drug Plans. Little magnifying glass icon, so we'll click that. And we'll come to the second page. This is new for this year. We'll just enter in my zip code and pick my county for example here. All right, so what we want to do first is describe your situation. You're going to click Original Medicare here. Just ignore these two drop downs. We'll put, do you get extra help? You'll say, no, I don't get extra help. I don't know, either one will be fine. And then we'll also put in, would you like to add drugs? We'll say yes here. If you're not taking any drugs, you can leave that blank and just proceed. But we're going to put that we are taking drugs, put them in there, or medicines. So now here we're going to enter in a couple examples of some medicines. In the email, you may have received a drug list ID and a password date. You want to use that drug list ID and password date. That will be the date the actual drug list ID was created. And what we'll do is put that in, excuse me, put that in and that particular date, and that should pull up the medicines we had last time we ran the calculation. If you don't have that in the email, then that means we did not run a comparison for you last time, or you're not taking any medicines. What we can do is just show you an example of just putting in some different medicines here. So let's go with lisinopril. We'll type in the first few letters. It'll suggest. We'll click on that. Pick the dosage, the quantity amount, and the frequency. If you're taking every 2 months or as needed, you might click on the 12 month just to think about how you actually use a medicine if you don't fill it monthly. So we'll just add that in there. Then we're going to put in a second one. Give an example, Synthroid. So this will be a name brand medicine. It will actually suggest the generic version if you're taking the generic version. So levothyroxine. So we would click yes. If you do not take the name brand medicine, you can always click to switch it back or go with the name brand medicine. We'll put in atorvastatin, very common drug also. All right, so we'll just use these three as our example. And again, if you do not have drug list ID in the email, you just want to make sure that you jot this down and then keep that in a safe place for next year. All right. All right, so on step 3 of 4, we're going to enter in a particular pharmacy. My little town, we only have one pharmacy, but you can always expand the radius or look up a specific pharmacy and zip code if you use one that's a little further out than what's suggested here. So we're just going to put Walgreens in, give an example of Walmart. Choose that. It doesn't really matter which particular pharmacy you pick if it's one of the name brands, the big large retail pharmacies. Those will be fine. Once we've done that, we'll continue to plan results. And then also on here, step 4.4, we're going to click the top prescription drug plans with original Medicare. It's going to show, in our particular case, 28 plans that are available in the zip code. We can view the top 10 or just view all of them if you'd like. What the software will do is it will take the name brand or the medicines that we've entered in the pharmacies that we've entered and compare all 28 plans based on the total out-of-pocket cost to you for the next year. So in this example, it is showing the estimated annual drug cost of $268 annually. You can always highlight this to give you a definition. But what this number does is it includes copay, or excuse me, premiums, monthly premiums, the deductible if it applies, and any copays for that particular medicine, and puts it all into this one figure. And if you want to use the mail order, that's an amount for the mail order. So one of the things we want to do before we even look at the plans, we want to make sure all the medicines that we have entered are covered. So we want to make sure that's yes. Any drug restrictions, we can click on this and get some detail on drug restrictions. As far as any other things you might want to look at, again, just this one, the first column, is the most important for comparing plan to plan. All right. So right now we're seeing this WellCare value plan come up. Not a big fan of WellCare right now. They had some issues last year with a few clients I had on that plan. Might not be a plan I'd recommend this year. If it comes up as the least expensive option, shoot me an email and let's compare it to what plan you're on right now. I want to see this one perform a little better before I recommend it to clients. But we're going to use this as an example and click on this one and just look at the details of the plan. So what it's going to show us first is the monthly premium, the deductible, if it applies. Some plans do not have a deductible. This one does. The $415 is the maximum deductible you can have for a Part D plan for next year. All right, and again, this is going to compare Walgreens versus Walmart versus mail order on an annual basis. Now, also on the prescription drug plan, on the deductible, some plans, well, I'd say most plans, will not count Tier 1 or Tier 2 medicines towards the deductible. So if we scroll down to the bottom, we'll see that the medicines we've entered are all Tier 1 medicines. So you will not see the deductible price difference between the deductible phase and the initial coverage level. So there are 4 different phases. Again, some plans have a deductible, some plans do not. In this case, we're showing that you never even get out of the deductible phase for the entire year. But what this does is shows the price difference. If you had a name brand medicine, the Tier 3, 4, or 5 medicine, it would cost more during the deductible, and then the cost would drop significantly during the initial coverage level. Once you've made it through the initial coverage level, you would go into the coverage gap or donut hole. Prices change during this phase, and then after you've spent time in the donut hole, you would come out of catastrophic coverage. Generally, you're going to have some name brand medicines to get into the donut hole. In most cases, if you're taking just some maintenance medicines that are generic, you may not even leave the deductible phase of the particular plan that year. We can always switch and compare the different amounts, and you'll notice the bar charts here change as we go. When we go to mail order, it generally will show you on a quarterly basis because it's filling it on a 3-month prescription refill, and in this particular plan there's no cost for those particular medicines through their mail order pharmacy. All right. So once we've done that, we can scroll down and just make sure, if you want to look at the different tier levels that your medicines are on. But other than that, that is a quick review of how to compare these different plans. If you have any questions or you see that one particular plan is lower cost than the one you're on, please give me an email and just let me know. I'll go back in behind you and check these and see if I would suggest moving to that particular plan. In some cases, if the price is not very much difference, I would recommend staying with the current plan. You don't have to change, potentially change pharmacies or change plans and have to get new prescriptions for that. If you do have a plan that has a prior authorization, sometimes it's not worth going through the headache to get that prior authorization met again with the new plan. But if you have any questions about the results that you see, just give me an email. If your plan comes up as one of the top 1 or 2 plans, then you want to stay in case you want to keep that plan, then there's nothing you need to do. Your plan will automatically renew for the next year. Again, any questions, send me an email and I'll gladly do a quick comparison, and we'll go from there.